That would be the funniest thing if we get there and then turns out, oh, recently unearthed, like just now unearthed, a film from 1971 just came out. We're like, well, crap. Just like, screw you guys. We're going to throw a wrench in your entire video. Here's one from 1968. That'd be great. Actually, no, it wouldn't. I would die.
What is a brick film? A brick film is a stop-motion animation made with Lego. Brickfilming has created a thriving community of animators from all across the world, joined under the shared passion of telling stories through the plastic bricks that everyone knows and loves. And since the advent of the internet, people have shared their brick films online and built communities where they can make friends and share their own work.
And one of those communities is called Brickfilm Day. Every year, they host the titular Brickfilm Day event, in which members of the community are encouraged to submit a brickfilm of their own, or a video about brickfilming, to celebrate the hobby as a whole. It started in 2018, tied in with the 45th anniversary of the first brickfilm on record, Journey to the Moon.
Journey to the Moon goes all the way back to 1973. It's a 6-minute brick film created by 10 and 12-year-old Danish cousins Henrik and Lars Hassing. The film, shot on Super 8mm, features a group of astronauts as they take the journey to the moon. And even to this day, it remains a genuinely impressive mix of large sets, practical effects, camera work, and more.
Lars posted the brickfilm online in May of 2013 on the advent of the film's 40th anniversary. Up until then, what the first brickfilm was not common knowledge. Many thought it was 1989's The Magic Portal, while a smaller number were aware of earlier brickfilms like 1980's Lego Wars. But with the upload of Journey to the Moon, it became well known in the brickfilming community as the first brickfilm.
In 2014, the Brickfilms Wiki was launched, serving as a community resource, documenting brickfilms, creators, and events. And the Brickfilm Archival Project began, which sought to preserve downloads of brickfilms in case they ever disappeared from the internet. Both projects were spearheaded by brickfilmers Nathan Wells and Sean Willis.
To introduce myself, I am Sean Willis, also known online as Penta or Silly Penta. I'm co-admin of Bricks in Motion, one of the largest brickfilm communities since the 2000s. I oversee the Brickfilms Wiki, and in the community I am known as the resident brickfilm historian. I've been brickfilming since 2007, and I became interested in preserving brickfilm history after noticing how quickly knowledge of things I thought were worth remembering fell by the wayside in the hobby.
And I'm Chris Wynn, other co-admin of Bricks in Motion. I started brickfilming when I was 8 years old and have been a part of the online brickfilm community since 2010. I've been the host of the annual Brickfilm Rapidly All Week Long contest since 2018, and like many others in the community, thanks to the work of Penta and others, I developed an interest in brickfilm history and its preservation. The vision of Bricks in Motion is to celebrate modern brickfilmers and to create a welcoming environment for the future while also preserving the history of the hobby.
And with Brickfilm Day celebrating the history of the hobby, we decided to go right to the start by reaching out to interview the creators of Journey to the Moon. We got in contact with Lars Hassing, and he agreed. So, we hopped on a Zoom call.
Ready?
Yeah, it's just, it'd be much cooler if we actually went to Denmark for the interview.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like we go all the way out there just for a video, right?
All right, the day of departure is here. I've got a whole bunch of film gear in here, ready for our interview, and a whole bunch of extra film gear and clothes in my carry-on, and my apartment is a wreck because I've been furiously trying to pack and get ready.
Well, I might as well get some use out of the vintage BIM drip, courtesy of Bert L., a massive legend in the community for sure.
I'm gonna look like an idiot on the flight, carrying this gigantic setup we have going on here, but that's what I gotta do, so let's go. It's been a weird long day of travel. I got scammed out of too much money by a taxi driver. This is Gus. Hello, Gus.
Hello, Chris.
You may recognize him from a whole bunch of Brickfilm voice acting.
From like 10 years ago.
Yes.
I'm the guy that mumbled in Nathan's Love back entry once.
Mr. Montgomery, as the proprietor of the Stonebridge Orphanage, it is your moral and societal duty to feed, clothe, and shelter those less fortunate than yourself, is it not?
That's like my biggest role ever, and I mumbled so hard.
Yes, but he has been a savior, saving me from not knowing where to go in these times. There he is.
I can't help you.
Yes, we will do it anyway.
Okay.
What's up, dude? Oh, we're back again.
After seeing Berlin and touring the German Film Institute, we couldn't resist stopping by the multiple LEGO stores we stumbled upon during our journey. After spending all of the Bricks Motion Patreon money on LEGO, we were fortunate enough to stumble across some new official sponsors.
We said goodbye to Gus and hopped on a train to the home of LEGO itself, Billund, Denmark. The night before the interview with Lars Hassing, there was no better place to stay than Hotel Legoland.
It's nearly midnight and we're walking in and it's really weird and I'll be honest, kind of creepy because there's no lights and there's like nobody around here and we're just strolling on up. After a long day of traveling, we've finally arrived to the Legoland Hotel. Look at this little wholesome man. He's greeting us. Big old dragoon.
I can't believe they're unironically playing Everything is Awesome.
Big wallow minifigures.
Oh, that's a map of the Lego house.
Map of Lego house right here.
I want them specifically because they're exclusive.
We have all these exclusives that we want, but alas, probably can't have, but... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god. How do you feel about this?
Look at his eyes.
It is the goat. Do 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 do. Do do do.
Yeah.
This is really weird but kind of awesome at the same time.
It does feel like we have truly come to the right place.
Yeah.
I have to lie down.
I think this is the true Kino. Screw Journey to the Moon.
I mean, really, it's impressive that they even had the foresight to put a title card on it.
Yeah.
It's not just something that they just started filming and then just kept adding to it, and you know, eventually they had a film. It's like they actually had the idea in mind. Oh, this is a film with a title.
Yeah.
Which is unlike most other 70s and 80s Brick films. I love how occasionally you can just see the hand like leaving the corner of the frame.
Mm-hmm. It is like really well animated, even just like early Brick films nowadays, and it's they're literally 8 frames per second, just all over the place. This is like seriously, like it has like a tilting shot, like the camera's moving up with it. That's like crazy.
Yeah, and like you see the storyboard, like he had it all planned out. Every shot was described what has to happen in the shot.
Yeah, yeah, like that's you don't see that in Brick films nowadays.
I love that the globe of the world still has like the handle on it.
Yeah, and just like building's like such an expansive set. It's just like, again, even now rarely done in brick film. It's literally most brick films nowadays are just 3 walls and that's it. Wait, who made these videos, Penta? Who made these videos documenting the history of brick films?
Oh well, you know, whoever it was probably got everything wrong. It would probably pay me to watch them.
This is true. How does it feel to like make all those videos documenting everything, and now you're meeting like, you know?
It is really nice. Yeah, it's really cool that this whole project that, you know, goes back to the wiki starting in 2014. It does feel like it's culminating in this now. Yeah.
Look at that. It's the Lego Studios. Penta, do you think you can animate that figure?
Yeah, I think we can get a 4-frame walk cycle going with that guy.
The day of our interview with Lars Hassing had arrived, but beforehand, we decided to take a quick tour of Lego House.
We didn't know much about Lego House going in, and coming out, it's hard to put into words exactly what it is. It's part activity centre and part Lego build showcase on an enormous scale.
Toured Lego House and it was amazing. We looked at all the Lego designs. The crazy level of detail just kind of took me back to when I was a kid. So many different narratives being thrown in the single model. It just, honestly, at points overwhelming, just how crazy detailed everything was, and truly just magnified just what amazing things people can do with Lego.
And you can feel the passion and the love.
Yeah, and that was a big thing, is you can tell that everyone here at Lego House and people who make Lego, they love what they do. And it was really inspiring because we love what we do as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so like come to a place where people share, you know, a slightly different passion, but still the same unified passion is pretty special.
Yeah, it certainly feels like more than just a product or a company. Of course, we knew that at the Lego House, it has the store that has the Lego House exclusive sets that you can only get in person. We already had the idea in mind that we wanted to get the duck. Well, I particularly wanted the duck. And so we arrive at the shelf, I'm looking at the ducks, and they have a signature on the box. And I say, oh, are these signed by the designer? And a guy standing right next to me with a pen who's writing on the boxes says, yeah, they are.
And I was like, oh, I guess that's the designer, and it was really cool. We talked to him for a little bit. His name's Jamie Wheeler, and he was really cool. He was a really nice guy to meet and talk to. So as you can see, he was kind enough to sign the set. So we got one for Penta,
There is one for me, but we did snag one more, and we are excited to announce that that will be a prize in our upcoming Brawl 2023 Brickfilm Rapidly All Week Long. It's an upcoming contest that we have, so you have the chance to win this as well. So if you want it, stick around and you'll get the chance to win it.
Swag.
Yes. So yeah, we're touring Lego House, seeing all the crazy models, and then
We've found a place called History Collection.
It doesn't feel like it's a public place that people are visiting.
We're in the
but
back rooms.
It has all the signs pointing to it, so I assume.
What is this?
What is this? There's literally nobody else is following these signs.
Considering nobody's here. What is this?
We followed some signs down to a very spooky basement.
and it's just empty. And then we go into this black room.
Oh, it's a museum. Oh, okay. Let's go through the history. Walker Christensen.
Just going through all the Lego products throughout the years, starting with the wooden toys, of course. But then once you get to the plastic bricks, in the 50s, we come across this TV in the wall and it's playing old Lego commercials. And there's one from Germany playing. I've never seen this one. And I've been scouring for all of these old ads with any semblance of stop motion.
What are the odds that this video
Older.
is older than Journey to the Moon? Because if so,
let's pretend we didn't see it.
we will have a big problem on our hands.
It would certainly make for an intriguing plot twist as far as a narrative is concerned. Although, we might end up just kidding ourselves if we came all this way and then just... All that happens is we find out there's actually older brick films. There's a production company on that. But yeah, like... You know, that's arguably character animation. It's not simply bricks building up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's character animation for sure.
Oh my god, this is like terrifying.
Yeah, this is surreal. It's like the universe is playing a prank on us. Obviously, Journey to the Moon would still count as the first like amateur, entirely plot-based short film. You know, rather than advertising where objects move. So I'm just huffing the copium right now, but you know, it still kind of counts.
In that ad, there was this set, and it says it launched in 1955. So, I'm gonna doubt they're making advertisements for it 18 years later.
I don't know what to say.
So, we literally just found an earlier Lego stop motion. So, let's go back. When I said a brick film is defined as a stop motion animation made with Lego, I lied. Well, sorta. Not really. You see, a stop motion animation made with Lego is the simplest and most common definition given to people who are outside of the brick filming community. For those inside the community, the definition is a bit more complicated. What is a brick film?
Stop motion animation with Lego.
I have definitely heard of some non-stop motion brick films before.
There are a number of really good CGI Lego animations out there that I would still consider brick films.
You know, if the main medium is Lego, or at least made to look like Lego, made to kind of imitate Lego, I feel that really classifies as a brick film. Or not, it doesn't necessarily have to be Lego even, you know, it's like brick-based, I guess.
With things like Ninjago or the Clutch Powers movie or even Monkey Kid, which is 2D animated but still emulating Lego, would that still be considered a brick film?
Like, you can normally tell when it's a brick film, but like, I love Ninjago. I love watching Ninjago, but like, it just has a different feel to it.
Yeah, no, it feels weird calling it a brick film, but...
Would you consider it a brick film if there's an ad for Lego that has shots where the sets build up by themselves, like layer by layer of bricks, and there's no character to how the bricks move into place or anything else going on? It just builds up.
I think if the idea is just as showing a set being built, and they're not trying to make a film, it's not trying to be a film.
Even though the set's building up, very technically, it is stop motion with Lego, but you don't consider it a brick film because there's no life being given to characters or there's no world being created.
Yeah, it's like it's just time lapsing set basically.
If you considered this video that you shared on General to be a brick film, then you'd end up in a bit of an existential crisis, because that would mean that the first brick film was predated 1972.
As a historian, I guess I can call myself a historian at this stage. Like, it's interesting.
Yes.
You know, I'm never going to do the whole like, oh, the Magic Portal is still the first brick film deal. Like, I'm never going to try to say, no, I didn't see it. So, I mean, hey, it's cool to know.
I mean, I think at this point we kind of knew that there were probably some...
Yeah, we've always been saying it, like, the technology has always been around, that theoretically there must have been some earlier thing that we just haven't found or just got lost forever. You know, it's just decaying in someone's attic. I did know that there were these ads with Lego just building up and down. But, like, the fact that this has character animation is what makes the difference for me.
Okay.
It feels more like kind of a brick film. You know, it's like, I find it very hard to say a set just photographed going up and down as a brick film.
It's not a narrative.
No, it's not.
We traveled all the way out here just to find that there's earlier ones. At least we kind of unearthed it on our own.
True.
Kind of. What a story.
What a story, Mark.
I don't know how to feel.
I just keep telling myself, it makes for an interesting twist. We reached out to Lego House to find out if there was any information about the origin of the commercial. They knew close to nothing about the film other than that it was made for German cinemas and was likely from the late 50s or 1960. We scoured the internet, but uploads or information about the commercial were nowhere to be found.
And it just so happened that our journey brought us to, as far as we knew, the only place in the entire world where we could have viewed that commercial. And we discovered it an hour before our interview with Lars.
Long last, we're about to meet Lars Hassing. What's going through your mind?
We'll see what he looks like. We've mostly seen him as a 12-year-old in those old photographs. I think there are some newer pictures on his site, but I can hardly remember. I think this is him, and I think he has the scroll of the original title card from the film.
Oh my god.
This is going to be amazing to see in real life. Hello, Lars.
Hi.
I'm Sean.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
We saw you from afar, and we were already saying, oh my god, is that the title card from the film?
It is.
Oh my gosh. I love how we can just see a scroll and he knows exactly what it is.
Where do we want to start? Well, I think it's interesting that we're here for the 50th anniversary of Journey to the Moon and brick filming in general, but also the fact that the original film was made for the 50th anniversary of your grandparents' wedding, isn't that right?
Yeah, it would be 100 years this year if they were still living. On many holidays and weekends, we went to their house and cleaned the living room, moving all the furniture aside, and we had this nice floor of carpet, and then we were building.
Yeah.
A lot
of Lego.
A lot of Lego, yeah. We used to have a railway all around, and we were sitting in each end, and we were writing small notes. Hey, I need some bricks, I'm building a car, and then the note would go with the train, and my cousin would put some bricks on, and my grandfather had bought this camera, which was rather unusual to have, but he used it for filming the family on vacations. But I discovered also by reading this book about trick filming, or make it puppeteer filming, that he had a small cable and you could actually take 1 or 2 frames at a time. And when he was filming, there were 3 minutes on a cassette, and he was filming the family on a vacation, and then there were 30 seconds left perhaps, and then we got to play with it. So we made some small animations of a coffee table, plates and cups moving around. There's a book about all kinds of things you need to know when doing films, also with people, actors, how to set up lighting. Maybe my parents had it, or actually my granddad had bought this because he also wanted to learn some techniques and how to zoom in. You don't have to zoom fast, you have to zoom smoothly. So I think he bought it, and then I saw it and I studied. Oh, they were very surprised that we had made such a long film, and my granddad was so glad about it. He wanted the Lego company to know about it, so he wrote the CEO and wrote that we had made this film. Gottfred Kirk Christiansen was actually interested, so he invited us to Billund to show it. So he was a very nice man in a white shirt. He liked the film and asked if he could save it, or if he could have it for some days, he would make a copy of it. And he also made an extra copy for us, because we only had the original. But now we had one for me and one for my cousin.
Oh, really good. So he organized that for you. Yeah.
And then after the meeting, we had a small tour around the factory, seeing the production site, and then we also got a big Lego set. Yeah. So that was all. We never heard anything else about it. So I don't know what they did with the film, if they used it or if he showed it to his kids.
That would be really interesting to know, what became of his copy.
It's out there somewhere,
When we had a birthday party for my friends, we showed it, and for other ventures, for like, I was a Boy Scout, and we had, at Christmas, we were selling things we had made in hand to have some money. And we also showed the film there as an entertainment. Cartoons like Donald Duck, and also we showed this film.
And so you mentioned you could advance the film and the camera like one frame at a time consistently. Yeah, because there's a lot of old early animations where it's just sort of like hitting record and stop really fast.
There was a special cable you could attach to the camera, so you could actually click one frame at one. I don't remember. Maybe we did 2 frames, because otherwise you have to move a lot of frames for each second. So if you take 2 frames at a time, you only have, I think it was 24 frames.
Oh, okay.
A second.
So you would have been animating at 12 frames per second at a time, because that's what we still do to this day. That's our favorite.
Yes,
because we were just watching it again last night just to refresh our memories, and we were just thinking like, wow, the animation's actually really consistent, and it's a good frame rate. And of course, we always say in the community, like, Journey to the Moon is incredible because it's a full film with a narrative and multiple scenarios. And for years and years and years, anything we've seen afterwards, it's mostly just like cars driving on roads for like 30 seconds.
So, it is really, that's what I was saying, just rewatching, because I hadn't seen it in a little bit. But it is just like a fully fleshed narrative. And it did remind me of just like the stories that I would tell just with my toys and Legos as a kid. So for me, thinking of it as like the first amateur brick film, it is a perfect one to start off, because it perfectly captures what childhood is like.
But it is not stop motion, all bits. There are also some scenes where we just film and then had a fish line or pull things.
And where did that come from? Did that come from like, did you want to do it in stop motion and realize, it would look better if we just did it in live action?
I just think it was more natural for some scenes. For instance, when you're flying over the moon looking for a place to land, it would be very difficult to have the ship hanging in a line and then move. It would be much easier to have another fish line and then drag it. Also panning the landscape, it's natural doing in one shot.
That was also something that really shocked me. It was just, for such a young age, being able to do like really smooth panning shots was just really impressive.
But just to conceptualize like panning and tilting shots.
But again, I think I learned a lot from this book about making scenes and how to compose. And also at the time, the Apollo program was 69 and in the start of the 70s, and I thought it was very fascinating. So I studied that a lot also, and I knew all the journey by heart, the procedures and all the phases of the journey.
Gotcha.
And then we built it in Lego and played that. So so it was a natural choice also to make a film about it.
So you had basically reenacted that whole process before, and then like, we've done this so many times, that would be the perfect thing to make a film about.
Exactly, yeah.
That's awesome.
Sometimes people assume they think like, oh, this is the first brick film. Is it some sort of relation? Like, was it inspired by Trip to the Moon by George Méliès?
It was a coincidence, actually.
Yeah.
We began in '72. The golden wedding anniversary was in May '73, and we did a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't cut the film, so we had to do the scenes in the right order.
The storyboards, and like that is a discussion that we have in the brick filming community. Oh, should we do storyboards? Should we not? And some people are like, no, I don't do that. And some people are like, no, it's a really helpful tool. And I do believe it is. So for you to have that foresight, you know, as a young kid is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Also, there's an example in the book of how to make storyboards. And
okay. I see. Oh, yeah, it's exactly laid out like.
Yeah. So I think we kind of copied it. So
yeah.
So we got a lot of inspiration.
I always wondered how was it that you were aged 10 and 12 and you were this good?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it makes a lot of sense that you learned it from a book.
We learned a lot from the book. Yeah.
People older than 10 and 12 could learn from that. Actually read some books.
Yeah.
Because I've always found it completely incredible that you had this much planning and foresight, and like the actions of the shots are described and the exact length of the shots is planned out.
Yeah, we tried to figure out, because we knew we had 6 minutes, actually 3 minutes in the start, but we had so many scenes that 3 minutes was not enough, so we asked our parents if we could have another cassette. I had a cousin living 20 kilometers away. Many weekends he would come over and we were just playing Lego. But when doing the film, he was coming over for a weekend and we were building the props. One had to sit behind the camera and do this, and then the other had to move, and then move, do. I think we did it both. Also, my little sister, she didn't build, but she was helping us painting the scenery.
Yeah, the whole landscape is really well done, actually.
We built it in papier-mâché. So we had a large cardboard, and then we had some stuff and put a newspaper on it with glue, and then when it was dry, we could paint it.
Oh yeah, right. We should ask about practical fire effects in the film.
Oh yeah. Was there ever a concern about like lighting things on fire or anything?
Yeah, my dad didn't like it because we were filming from December or January, so that was about the New Year's Eve. So we spared a few, what do they call them?
Sparklers.
Sparklers, yeah. So we had a few left, and we asked if we could use them for the film also. We burned a few Lego bricks in the process. It's not easy to control and it burns longer than we had expected. So the landing is still, when you touch down, it still keeps burning. We couldn't turn it off.
I found it really funny that after it has landed, you can still see this big burnt circle underneath the ship. Yeah.
For the landing, we built another scale of the landing module. If you notice, the one that is used when driving around on the moon is a smaller one than for the landing. It was built twice or 4 times the scale because it had to fit with the sparklers.
It's incredible. Like, there's so much remarkable creativity. I'm thinking of like when there's the dolls watching the TV. So you have the Lego scale inside the TV, and the big dolls watching it.
Maybe, I think it was another idea I got from this book, that you could make scenes like that. You could have the scenery with a small hole and seeing something else.
Yeah. The book is emerging as the secret weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually meant to be the astronauts' wives sitting at home watching the...
Okay.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I guess I just thought it was meant to represent just any observers at home who could have been watching the moon landing.
So after we made the film, I think then we have tried that, been there, done that, and then we moved on to other things. So we had a lot of interests. I was working as a programmer. I started in '86 in a small computer company.
I noticed on your website there's some like Lego programs.
Yeah, I think it was '98, I became aware of an Australian guy making a program for DOS where you could actually exchange building instructions, very short descriptions of which brick to use and the precision, the placement and how it was rotated. And I had done a lot of 3D rendering. Ray tracing is a special technique for making photorealistic renderings. Actually, it went on for 7, 8 years, being part of that community.
Did you think that there'd be people online who would be interested to see an old Lego animation?
Well, actually, it was because one of my colleagues had all her family's films digitized.
Oh.
And then I also asked, I have this movie, maybe I could digitize it in the same batch. And then I had the possibility of posting it online. Because until then, we just had it lying somewhere around.
The attention it received would have been a surprise to you.
Yeah, actually.
I would love to see the title card.
Yeah, I brought the title cards.
Wow. Oh my god, that's incredible.
And it's still in really good
condition.
it's really good condition.
Yeah, this is the rocket with the actual colors we built it in.
Wow, this is amazing. It looks so new. Like it's hard to believe it's 50 years
also,
old.
it is very sharp when you look at it. It is not so sharp at the movie. We did observe the minimum distance you had to be using the camera. You could not go too close.
The colors are so much more vibrant.
Yeah, extremely vivid. Because I just imagine like, oh, it's fading over the years, but that's pristine.
Yeah. It is a journey to the moon.
There you go.
Oh.
What is that? What is...
Oh yeah, that's
Presents, yeah.
Wow.
There were two more. There were one saying 2 days later.
Oh yeah.
And then the famous saying slut.
Yeah, we always that gives us a laugh.
It's a perfect, decent Danish word meaning the end.
The end. Yeah.
But I got on the internet, on YouTube, there's a lot of comments saying, what?
I remember the first time I was a little confused. But luckily someone explained it.
I think a lot of people are, yeah.
Journey to the Moon, of course, is made before the minifigure was invented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to build the small astronauts ourselves. It was only 5 years later the minifigures came.
Yeah, it's funny that the little guys going around on the moon.
Yeah, but then we could separate them when they were going down into a helicopter. We could take one piece and then they were just disappearing. When we were playing, we were building these people. It was not just for the movie. We made the storybook because we only had the 6 minutes and we couldn't cut the film. So we had to make the scenes in the right sequence. So again, with inspiration from this book, how to make it. We had a page for each scene with some fields and saying how many seconds, and then what is happening, and then maybe a small screenshot.
And of course, it's explaining that it's going to be the title saying Lars and Henrik Hassing present, which we saw.
And then
I like those.
That was deleted.
Oh, really?
The 3 astronauts.
They have names.
Larsen, Henriksen, and then Gottfredsen.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So, what was the deleted shot going to be? Like,
Yeah,
it was a title card.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe explaining who they were.
Yeah, showing their
the
names.
actors.
Oh, okay.
Then we also had an idea, and we would have the scenery behind rolling, So it appeared the car was moving, but that was too much work, so that was also not part of it.
Okay.
Instead, we built this landscape and then just moved the cars in stop motion.
That's very
But
interesting.
that was again an idea from the book that you could make filming a car by moving the background.
That's a technique that is
That's
often
a common technique.
Oh yeah. I'm really interested by especially the deleted scenes and concepts.
Also, we had to go by train, I think.
Oh.
Again, using the rolls, but again, too much work. So.
And this, I see
And then
the
they
rocket.
went to the launch sites, and then they were going up to the top and going into the rocket. Launch, rocket.
Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And then another technique, you zoom away from the Earth and zoom into the moon.
That is a part that I love in the film, where you have like the globe of the
Yeah.
Earth, and
Yeah.
you can still
And we
see
have a
like
moon globe also.
you can still see how it's like it has the handle on it. Yeah, a globe you find on someone's shelf.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we had to use the props that we had.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, that you had to hand. Yeah.
But again, this kind of scenery with zooming in and out were again inspired by the book, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we could talk about what we discovered in the base.
Do you want to tell them, or do you want me to?
Yeah, you
Okay, so we had a very weird experience going to Lego House.
We weren't even sure if we should bring up the old advertisement we found in the history collection, but we did, and he wasn't particularly shocked.
I think it would also have been strange if Lego hadn't did some of this, because if you look at commercials from the 50s, there are a lot of animation by washing powder coming out of a box or something else.
Yeah.
So it was a natural thing, I think, for Lego to do in their advertisements.
Journey to the Moon, it's the first one that's like a brick film as we know it. Where it's kids get a camera and they get their Lego in front of the camera and just make a film just because they want to tell a story, you know. It's not a commercial
the
venture.
story, that's the story part.
But the old advertisement wasn't the only surprise that we found in Lego House.
We were in the Lego house and suddenly we found this section.
We look over and we see that there's a stop motion booth where kids can come in and make their own stop motion. And it felt like this really cool kind of full circle, you know, moment to see like it come back to where we started, at least for me, of just a kid with some Legos in front of a camera. And it's just its purest form. And we had a crazy thought.
So our idea, of course, is we need to bring Lars Hassing here and have him make his first brick film in, 45 to 50 years. I'm always keeping track of little details like who has the widest span of brick filming activity. And so, of course, the first thing that comes to my mind is if we can bring him out to the Lego house, which is only, 5 minutes away from where we are, and get him to make a brick film at this little station. That'll be hard to beat. And we thought to ourselves, wouldn't it be amazing if we got you to sit down at one of these booths and create another brick film?
Just like a short little animation.
Yeah, just a few seconds of animation.
Would you be interested in doing that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do it. He did indulge us in this idea, and he came over to the Lego house and into the stop motion booth.
So, place the police car here.
There was that moment of like, when he's basically was just like, yeah, I made this film and I moved on with my life.
So I was wondering, because you had been online in the 90s, like, did you ever hear about any other brick films online? Like, they started to become a thing like at the beginning of the 2000s. Were you ever aware of that?
No.
Okay. that makes it simple.
For us, I think it was just something we did, and then we went on to the next fun project.
Yeah. What was really cool is he was saying, I haven't done this in 50 years, but as soon as he started going into it, there was this little spark that you can tell, that creative mind.
Yeah, the creativity was there.
2 starts. It's moving faster. 2 starts.
Okay, I'm gonna start off, it starts off slow.
It's gonna accelerate.
Gonna start with like moving the car by 1 studs, and then as it got faster, 2 studs, and then 3.
But especially when he said,
maybe I should just leave the hands in and take this one, because we did so in the original movie.
I love that.
Just injecting his own personality into stuff like that. And you can tell that he still had like those principles of animation in his mind from when he was a kid.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And talking about learning all that stuff from the filmmaking book, you could tell that all that knowledge was still there. And he talks about being like an engineer and getting to do cool stuff for like a newspaper. Even though, brick filming is the hobby that say like we've chosen, like he took that creativity and put it into a new path. It doesn't matter where you go in your life, like you still have that creativity, and it's just best to put it into something wherever you can in your life.
Could step up speed, 1, 2, 3.
We had planned for just Lars to animate, but he wanted us to take part. So with the few minutes left in the 15 that we were allotted in the booth,
1 minute. 1 minute.
I animated a short chase after the car stops on the other side of the bridge.
And I animated the barn door in the back closing, to feel included.
1 or 2 more frames. Oh, did that one hit?
I don't think that hit.
No.
So without further ado, here is Journey Across the Bridge. let you know when the video's out.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
We said goodbye to Lars, and our journey was over. Well, minus a quick pit stop in Copenhagen.
Getting to talk with Lars was a wonderful experience about journeying to the moon and about his life.
It's been real. It's been fun.
Yeah.
All right, come here. Good stuff. Goodbye.
On the whole way back, and even since we returned home, we still had that question. What is a brick film? It's led to like a lot of weird questions about what is considered...
What is a brick film?
What is a brick film? And I know to the outside world, this sounds like utter lunacy.
Does being made by professionals change anything to you guys?
I don't really think so, no.
Like, nah.
If we said no to that, then we'd be kind of claiming that like the Pearl of Doc Ock, the Han Solo affair weren't brick films, or like the Pagano Space Police.
So those examples are all some of the best narrative-based ads for Lego that have been made. You know, like really strong films. What would you think of an ad for Lego where the characters move around, but there's no great story? There's not much of a narrative to it.
Don't have a story, but they're still brick films.
Yeah, like test animations. I still consider test animations to be brick films, even though they don't have any story.
Yeah, even I agree. Even if it doesn't have a story, it's still a brick film.
Yeah, I also agree.
Is it on a technical basis of the technical, oh, it's Lego stop motion animation, or is it something more philosophical or even like in the spirit of what is considered a brick film?
Is your definition of a brick film more technical or is it more philosophical? Like more about like the vibes or just the feeling of what a brick film is?
A little bit of both, maybe. Kind of depends on who it is.
Yeah, like technical and like a community brick film is a different type of term, I would say.
It's still a brick film, but if it's made like by a bigger studio, it still has that bit of, oh, is this really have the same genuine nature as a brick film, or is this just as a sense to advertise this set or this product?
Yeah, I think it has to do with like what your personal qualifications for what a brick film can be.
The idea of like, you know, it's the sensibility and the spirit of making a brick film that really would count, I think.
So I guess it's one of those things, like I just kind of know it when I see it, which is a little abstract maybe, but...
That being a TV ad with some stop motion, it's still not really a film. So like Journey to the Moon, it's still the earliest full film with a narrative.
But when you talk about like making it with your relatives as a kid, you know, we can get caught up on the technicalities, but like to me that's what matters the most.
Yeah.
Is that's the, you know, the purest form of just this is what it's about, like kids and just wanting to tell stories. And that's what I love.
Is that where being a brick film is considered? I don't know. You get bogged down in sometimes in the technical aspects of cataloging what is or what isn't.
At least we can still say that Journey to the Moon is the earliest known amateur brick film. With apologies to Brick Film Day, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, we didn't mean to ruin your events. If this does ruin it, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just a number. I mean, it's cool to have like a nice, you know, the number 50 is great.
It is a nice number.
It is a very nice number. But still, there's a day to celebrate what brick filming is and not necessarily what it was, because when it started technically is almost arbitrary.
Of course.
At the end of the day, it's what the community has become and what's possible, and it's great, and that's why we love it, and that's why we're here.
I don't know why, but I thought I'd heard that Sean was black, and I don't know what it was. I don't know where I got it from.